Before you make a decision, ask yourself, how am I prepared? Am I prepared? Do I have the gifts, the talents, the skills, and experience to actually take advantage of an opportunity when it shows up? If so, how much? Is it enough to move forward, or could some things be improved? Can I move forward while I'm improving? Will I gain more experience if I move forward? These are a lot of important questions when you're thinking about moving forward. You don't always have to know everything if you know how to find out, or what they're actually supposed to ask to find out if it actually fits their life. Let's take a good snapshot. I have what I call a strategic decision wheel, which actually shows all the aspects of people's lives. And then we measure in there where they're spending their time and energy the most, and each area is connected. So when they do that assessment and they look at it, they can see very quickly what's really happening in their life, whether what's being neglected, and where maybe they're putting too much time and energy into something that isn't as important. So we start there by looking at what's really happening. And so we start with that. And then what I like to do is I take people into understanding they need to know what's most important to them. And we call those values. What do you value most? Some people, their faith is something they value most, or they value their family, they value their finances. There's all different ways to look at this. But if I don't understand where somebody's coming from, and I don't know what they value, how am I going to help them? What is most important to you? Determine when you're going to transition into something else and you're not quite sure, you may be feeling a little anxious or concerned about whether it's a right decision or a good decision. Always determine that based on knowing what you value, what's most important to you, so that you're not risking that while you're moving into something else you want to do that you think is going to be good. But I always say this, if a decision you think is good makes another problem, it's really not that good. And then we look at their priorities. Based on what they said they value, they now can begin to prioritize what's most important. And usually in that process, they quickly realize there's a bunch of things in there that are not things they value, and they're not a priority either. Okay, so when you're thinking about transitioning from one thing to another, and you have to make a decision, you want to think before you make that. How am I prepared for this? Do I have the gifts, talent, skills, and experience? But then I want to think about, what do I care about most? What do I value? And how could this, if according to my priorities, does this actually fit? And if it doesn't, you can pretty much guarantee that that's the decision you're going to say no to.